Welcome back to the channel. Arsenal are still in a title race, but as ever, Manchester United take up all the news. Get involved in today's chat, Reds, because we do want to discuss some of your comments throughout today's video. Before I get into it, though, was you happy with the result yesterday? I seen a lot of comments on our YouTube channel last night saying, Tony, why are you happy with the result?
I was looking at the game Crystal Palace, and I looked at yesterday, and it was an improvement. The only thing I was happy with yesterday, which I did say, was avoiding that thunderstorm. That's what I was happy with.
Yeah, obviously having a look over the comments this morning that was left on the YouTube channel. Big shout out to everyone who got involved on the video as always. But a lot of people were saying Arsenal didn't have to get out of second or third gear yesterday. Did you see that?
No, I didn't see that. I seen an Arsenal side not decisive as they normally are. The pressure was on them. I thought there was wayward passing by them. I didn't think they were as fluid as they were. I think the pressure was getting to him. Getting out of second, third gear. No, I thought what they did, the game plan, the way it went, was to contain the game and keep that 1-0 lead and try and sneak a goal. I think that's how it was. I don't think they were within themselves. I think the nerves sometimes got the better of them, where it stops them playing free-flowing football. I think that's how the game went for them. I think they were just happy. They were strong enough just to contain United. But second, third gear, no way.
Yeah, we were happy at the time that we was out of that absolute torrential thunderstorm at Old Trafford, but we did actually get caught in it on the way home, didn't we? Getting from the hotel just to the car park.
Yes.
Absolutely soaking wet.
We have to admit, we got absolutely soaked. So we didn't get away with it.
Yeah.
We just got away with it at the time of recording. So we didn't escape it.
Yeah, just going to go into Wayne Rooney's comments. I'm sure that's why a lot of you are here to listen to our opinion and get your own in as well. Now, he did say with Sky Sports, and he accused a lot of players of letting the club down by opting out of games. And he was saying, you look at the injuries and some of those players, they could easily play 100%. Your thoughts on that?
Well, I watched the interview this morning. I watched it twice, in fact, and he had a lot to say. And I think there will be a little bit of a shout about this, because what he's saying there is, I think, is correct, that players are opting out of games. I go back a month ago, I think the media missed an opportunity to bring it out. Erik Ten Hag was asked the question about Anthony Martial. He actually said, Erik Ten Hag, it's up to him. Now, no mention of he's not fit, he's injured or anything like that. He was saying if he chooses to play, then he'll play. That's what he was saying. So that's opting out. Anthony Martial has been accused of opting out by fans. Lots of fans on here. Yeah. I've not been too happy with him. I think he's not been putting 100% in for Man United. We can see that on the pitch. We see him off the pitch. So I think it's there. I think it's well known within the club. Wayne Rooney bringing it out. He's got contacts in the club. He talks to players. He talks to ex-players. He's in and around Manchester United. And I think he is 100% correct. And I don't think it just goes on at Manchester United. But there will be massive repercussions from what he has said. Because players, pundits, everything like that, what are they going to say now? They've got to be asked the question. No one has come out slagging Wayne Rooney. No ex-players have come out giving him stick over it. In other words, is correct, and they're all shying away from it. We're here to discuss it now. Yeah,
let us know what your thoughts and opinions are on that, because it's like my dad said there, Tony, you know, we've accused a lot of players over the years, in recent years, of throwing the towel in, and yeah, Anthony Martial has been one of them. But Rooney himself, going forward, wants to get back into management. You know, if you're a player out there, you know, you're an owner of a football club, would you really want to go and get Wayne Rooney when he's coming out with things like that against players, former players, etc.? Or do you just think it's a...
I think the way Wayne Rooney's now signed up to the media, I think that's where he sees it. He wasn't asked the question yesterday. He brought it out. And I think Wayne Rooney now, owners will look at him and think, I'm not going to risk him coming in, because he will reveal, he will say what he wants, what he believes, and he believes that this is 100% players just copping out, not putting the effort in. Now, the question here is, how big is the problem? Yeah. How big is the problem at Manchester United? Is it more than what I think it is, what Erik Ten Hag turned around? He hinted that he's not bothered. It's down to Anthony Martial. Well, that's no way for a player to act. to be honest, no way for a manager to act. He should have just sacked him, right? Stopped his wages and proved the point that he has given up.
It's dangerous as well, though. You know, a lot of people have eyes on the actual injury list as it is now currently. And it could start agendas against certain players as well, though, with him coming out with comments like that and not revealing who he actually has an opinion on, who he thinks he's throwing the towel in, so to speak, or dodging games.
I think Wayne Rooney brought the subject up, and where the failure here for us all to gain knowledge and understanding of what's going on is that the presenter never came back with the question, well, how many players is it, Wayne? Who is it, Wayne? And he never came back. So, unfortunately, this is going to rumble and rumble without us getting any answers. I think when you look at it, when players are copping out, sort of feigning injury, choosing when to play, because that's what he was saying. He looks as though he thinks players are like choosing to play. They want to come back in time for the cup final and things like that. To me, I just look at it and...
Do you think them players in that Man United squad as well see them comments as strong enough to maybe one or two of them come out and refute that, as to say, look, this ain't going on in this Manchester United squad? I expect Erik ten Hag to be asked the question in his next press conference, at least.
Erik ten Hag will be asked about it, but no, I was just going to finish there on what you said there. And it's like, no, these players, they see something, they see a player acting this way, getting away with something. And what we've seen for years and years inside the club is other players following suit. The professionalism, the standards, everything through the club has gone. When someone tries something on and they get away with it, other players think, oh, I'll do that. You go back to the comments what have come out this year about players being late consistently and getting away with it. Well, when they see this, a player get away with sort of what you and I, the ordinary football fan, would say, feigning injury, right? Doesn't fancy it, right? Other players will think, I'm not up to it. I don't fancy it. You know what I mean? So it's there, and it's been right throughout the club for years. I look back, and that saying is right there. This club needs open heart surgery. But Erik ten Hag himself knows and has said it's up to Anthony Martial. So why didn't he act? But if Erik ten Hag knows it's up to Anthony Martial, nothing to do with fitness, then so does Sir Jim Ratcliffe. And that's the good thing. The people from Ineos, what have come in, all the other players coming in, Barada, Wilcox, all that, they all know what's been going on and what's come out now through Wayne Rooney. And obviously I'm telling you and reminding you about what Erik ten Hag said about Anthony Martial choosing. It's his choice whether he wants to play. They will be on it, and there will be wholesale changes in attitude and the regime, what goes on. So that is something good to look forward to. Yeah. Wholesale changes, and we've just got to bite the bullet, because this isn't an isolated incident. This is players following other players, their attitude. The standards here.
It's the culture as well, like you're alluding to, innit? And you've said for a long time, especially this season, it's like a virus with inside the club, and it's on the top, and it's filtered all the way down to the football pitch.
Well, I just look at the players' attitude, okay, and I look back in my younger days and in the 90s and before that, 90s, 80s and the 70s, okay? But you look now in the last 10 years and you say to yourself, out of all the players what have left Manchester United or played, who's the iconic figure? Who is the professional? Who is the iconic player who has played for Manchester United in the last 10 years, who has put his life on the line, put his body on the line for Manchester United, who can walk away, right, and be looked back and revered by fans? Yeah. I can't really think of any off the top of my head. Now, I probably, if I sat down and looked at all the players, I could say it, but there's no...
When you're talking about putting the bodies on the line, would you not say Bruno?
No, I'm on about iconic.
Yeah.
You know, you can go through the 90s, you've got Keane, you've got Stam, you've got Giggs. Before that, you had other players. In the 70s, Vidic, you had players. Then you go back as far as George Best. That's what I'm talking about. Manchester United should be producing iconic players, players who have stood there. This is the standard you have to be a Manchester United legend. This is what you have to put in. I can't think of any. That's how low the standards are. There is no one there standing out.
Do you know what? That's a top comment, that, to be honest with you, for everyone out there to get involved in, because it is actually a struggle to try and think of anyone really in the last 10 years. Like I just mentioned there, Bruno Fernandes in terms of putting his body on the line, but you're also talking an iconic figure who drags Manchester United through big games at this football club.
Look, you can turn around and say he was a good player,
Yeah.
but there's no great players, no iconic figures. What in 10, 20, 30 years' time, fans will look back and go, what a player he was. Every game he did this, every game he did that. He led the team to this, he led the team to that. No, it's not there as far as I'm concerned. And that is the standard. This Manchester United is the biggest club in the world. And I can't think of an iconic player, right, since after Fergie left. I just can't.
Yeah.
I can't. And players what have been lauded as, oh, this great player, Paul Pogba. He was a joke, Paul Pogba. Yeah. He had the talent, but didn't use it. He was interested in more things. He was never an iconic player. You know, Ronaldo, when he came back, his time was up as an iconic player at Manchester United. We know he was an iconic player, but I'm on about players what have just developed into Manchester United, come in and got into the team and said, I'm here, I'm going to be iconic. People are going to talk about me, and I've got to put this in. I've not seen it, and I can't name a player. And players nowadays, the world's changed, players' attitudes have changed, the money they're on and everything, and they just seem to think they can get away with everything. And to be honest, they have been getting away with it. But Wayne Rooney's called it out. But let's see what the repercussions are here. Erik ten Hag will be asked the questions. But the question is, how many other players, ex-pros, will come out and say Wayne Rooney is 100%? And I believe he's 100% right. I do, I honestly do.
So do you think there'd be a reaction, obviously, from the manager, because you'd put your hat on it that a journalist will actually ask him questions, what Wayne Rooney actually said? Do you think any players might come out as well, or do you think they just keep quiet as they normally do?
No.
How would you feel, though, if you was in that Manchester United squad, you've got Wayne Rooney calling you out like, basically you and all your teammates are feigning injury to skip games?
He's saying there's players 100% what are injured, what aren't wanting to play.
Yeah.
That's what he's saying, okay? Now, the players inside there, they'll know what's going on because it's been going on for a long time.
Yeah.
When players are constantly late and not getting punished for it, when players are not turning up for certain things or being late for different things, they know who these players are, okay? So it's not as though the players are going to come out and start shouting and bawling, because at the end of the day, Wayne Rooney didn't say that without knowing what was going on. So to come out and challenge Wayne Rooney, he will come back and he will stick it right on him, because he is not afraid to come out. Players keep their mouth shut, they should work hard, but players aren't working hard, so they shouldn't be coming out. Erik ten Hag, I think he'll just dismiss it because he's got enough problems as it is. He already knows the problem. He knows it. Ineos know it. Sir Jim Ratcliffe know it.
Yeah, I expect to come back from Erik ten Hag, because I've just got something up there. I think we actually posted it on our community page, and I think a lot of you got involved on this, what Erik ten Hag said on last Friday before the game. And it was asked about the people who want him sacked. And as you can see on screen there, he said, I see some comments, either they don't have any knowledge of football, or they don't have any knowledge about managing a football team, or they just aren't up to it. I think there are many people who see the problems and they are patient. And that was his comeback to people who want him sacked and asking for all this Ten Hag out stuff. What's your thoughts on them actual comments? Do you think he's directing them at fans, or do you think he's directing them more at the pundits?
I think he's directing it more at the pundits, the people sat in front of him. But to be honest, I don't think he should have reacted. There was no need. It's a little bit petty going at it that way, playing mind games with him.
Yeah.
Should just stick to the football. But Erik ten Hag, over the last few months, has baffled us all in press conferences. I think he's just moving the other way. But when people, when he's talking about people know what's going on, and that, I think he's referring to Sir Jim Ratcliffe and his team. They all understand it. That's what he's saying. That's how I interpret that. Bit confusing. His conversation there, but at the end of the day, I think he should just concentrate on the football. I don't see how he can come out now and attack players and go on about players, because to be honest with you, there is no need. He has seen, he knows what's going on. So what's the point? Wait till the summer, deal with it then. And as fans, we know what's going on. We know how poor it is. We know the effort's not there. And at the end of the day, the time to act, the time to shout is in the summer, where if we see no action and no direction for this club to move in.
Yeah, a lot of people agreeing with your comments, actually agreeing with Wayne Rooney's comments as well. A lot of people saying I bet a lot of them will be fit for the FA Cup final and the Euros as well. But I just want to take myself back and everyone out there to a comment that was posted earlier on in the live chat from Gustavus Hillcock. And he says, well, after what I've seen all season, I fear we've bought another dud in Rasmus Højlund. I'm not impressed at all. Mediocre, to say the least. Had very little impact. Another waste of good money. I want to know your thoughts out there on Rasmus Højlund, his first season, how you think he's developed, and if you think he'll develop into that main striker at Manchester United. You're smiling, so you've got something ready.
I'm smiling because, you know, to score goals, you need the ball, and you need the ball being put to you. And if you look at Garnacho, and especially yesterday, he was just running down the track, just reminded me of Rashford. Rashford all season, doing just head down, running in, not supplying the ball to Rasmus Højlund. You've seen Rasmus when he come back from injury. He went on a scoring spree. Give him the ball in front of goal with the right wingers, the right type of ball, and he'll score. He is a centre forward there. He's a young lad. He's in it. He's had I think he's had at least 2 sets of injuries since he's come into the team. He's learning his trade, and for a man of that age, right, and the amount of football he's played in his career up to now, to lead the line for Manchester United, and I go back to it, a massive, biggest club in the world, right, to be honest, is a joke. And Rasmus Højlund has been failed by the club by not producing another centre forward to go along with him, bringing one in. And to pinpoint Rasmus Højlund and slag him down when he's up there and his work rate. I'm not saying he's been good. I'm not saying he's been great at anything. But you cannot have a go at Rasmus Højlund when everything around him and the club failed themselves to help and bring in a top striker. We was talking, right, about bringing Harry Kane in. Harry Kane, because he produced 30 goals. We knew Højlund didn't produce 30 goals, but we knew that Højlund was young, he wanted it, and is capable of improving, and he's there for the future. So to get off Højlund's back is the right thing to do. To criticise him is the wrong thing to do.
I won't be surprised if he had anything more than 2 touches in the actual Arsenal penalty box as well, though, yesterday. And as a striker, you need to be in that area as well to score goals, surely. Listen,
it wouldn't surprise me if many games, when you go through the stats, that Højlund hasn't touched the ball in the penalty box. He's touching the ball more outside because he's having to go for it and try and bring himself into the game, because the failure is there for us all to see. He is not being given the ball from the wingers. The wingers, what I see, you might be different on this, is that they get the ball and they want to take men on, take another man on, take another man on, and then try and shoot. They are not looking, as far as I'm concerned, and that's one of the big failures this year from all the wingers, for everyone supplying Højlund, is that they seem to want to be able to do it and score a spectacular goal. They're not doing the proper job in supplying Højlund. They are not doing the proper job as wingers because they're not even beating men and creating space. So it's been poor, but do not, whatever you do, blame Højlund, a young lad fighting to be up there and be the centrepiece and the goal scorer for Man United. Not a chance.
As we're discussing now, and I think a lot of you have said it all season, we have as well, we need a striker, definitely, this summer transfer window. But do you think there's any strikers out there who might be having second thoughts, seeing the lack of supply for Højlund this season? And especially with all the intense speculation around Erik ten Hag?
I think any player would be thinking, what's going on there? Is it the right environment for me? You know, you're going for a job. You think, well, is this the right place for me? You know, so any footballer would be thinking the same. So it's down to the management and the people in the suits to convince players and tell them what the change is going to be. Sell them the idea. And you've always got that added thing, it's Manchester United. But we've seen time and time again how many players have turned down coming to Manchester United. You look at Bellingham, for instance, what a player he's turned out to be. We couldn't get him when he was 16. Right? The potential was there. I'm just using him as an example. He preferred to go elsewhere and develop football. He didn't see United for many, many reasons as being the right place for him. And other players will do exactly the same this summer. But they won't just do it to Manchester United. They will do it to other clubs as well. We won't be the only club being turned down by quality players.
Akash K, cheers for your super chat, mate. He says, the roof needs fixing over any striker, laugh out loud. It's literally like the Titanic FC at the moment, and it on the pitch and also the stadium itself.
Look, the open heart surgery, that's, you know, let's just keep saying it. That's what the club needs in every department, whether it's the ground, whether it needs fixing, whether it's the training ground, the players, the coaching staff, the suits, you know. Every department just needs open heart surgery, and it's going to take a while. But what we want as football fans is direction. We want an understanding of what the plan is going forward, and then we can get behind it, hopefully get behind it. But that's what we need this summer. We're not going to get that now, okay? We're just going to get talk of the cup final. Are players fit enough? The players who have been out injured, are they going to come back in? You know, as far as I'm concerned, it's down to some of them players yesterday. They already think they're in the cup final. Those what played, those what are on the sideline, I think some of them, no, they're not going to play.
What type of players? Obviously, we need players that can put a shift in. You know, that's the least we expect on the pitch. But do you think he'll look for more experienced players in this summer transfer window, or younger players like, you know, the ages of Rasmus, Højlund, etc.? Because we might be losing a lot of experienced players this summer, with your Casemiro, your Varane, Harry Maguire, possibly. You know, people of that age who've got experience at international level. I
think what you've got to do, you've got to just go and look, first thing, with any player, the right attitude.
Yeah.
He's got to have the right attitude, the right professionalism, and wants to get better and wants to achieve things. And I go back to early on what I said, you know, you want a player what wants to play for Manchester United, who believes he's going to improve himself and become an iconic player. This is Manchester United. That's what you want from a player. So it's all about attitude as far as I'm concerned. And too many players have walked into Manchester United, and the first thing they've been worried about is getting the right amount of money and the most they can. And that, unfortunately, has been going on for a long time here now at United. There's just not enough players with the right attitude and the right quality at Manchester United. They're not playing as a team. They don't want to play as a team because they're just thinking about themselves. I want a player what comes in here who wants to be the greatest, who wants to achieve things. And we've not seen that for a long time.
Anyway, on to some good news, and that's Waistcoat. He's had no conversations with Manchester United in regards to the manager's job.
Gareth Southgate.
Yeah, a.k.a. Gareth Southgate.
He's had no conversations. Well, that kills a lot of people. What have been going on about Gareth Southgate, saying he's been talking to him and everything. He said that, quite right. He's come out. I thought he'd have come out earlier, to be honest with you. But to me, and I don't know anyone out there, what sees Gareth...
Waistcoat, just call him Waistcoat.
Just call him Waistcoat.
It's easier.
Yeah, I think what it is, it's my dislike of him that I can't pronounce his name. Yeah. So Waistcoat is the appropriate name for him. Waistcoat there is not the right fit for Manchester United. I've seen managers like him before, and certainly not for Man United. Do you know what, something? I would absolutely go mad if he was the manager picked, but then the problem with that is I'd have to support him if he was the manager. So at the end of the day, it'd drive me nuts.
I listened to Rio Ferdinand this morning. I don't know if it was over on Talk Sport while I was in the car on the radio. And I just get this feeling, especially over the last week or two, we've done, you know, a video on Gary Neville, the interview he had with Erik Ten Hag at Carrington. I listened to Roy Keane last night as well, saying that I think United need to stick with Erik Ten Hag, or you know, for next season.
Yeah.
And I'm just getting this feeling over the last 2 weeks. There's been a complete turnaround from these ex-Manchester United players on sticking with Erik Ten Hag. I don't know how you feel out there, but I'm sensing a different tone now.
Yeah, there is definitely a different tone going round there, and I think it's been going for a little bit longer than 2 weeks, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But every Manchester United pundit, what's out there in the media, is talking Erik Ten Hag. I'd give him another chance. Roy Keane said it last night. Now, I'm not taking it out of context, but he came up. He doesn't really advocate shouting to sack managers, so I think he should have more chance. He's got 12 months on his career, so they are coming round to talking about Erik Ten Hag in softer tones. Now, do they all know something And I did say the other week, Gary Neville's in there. He's inside Manchester United. There won't be just Gary Neville, but he has got the ear of Sir Jim Ratcliffe based on the development and everything going around Manchester United. Well, them conversations will be more than that, and he'll be privy to talk to other people inside the club and new people what have been brought in. So we don't know the conversations, but you can tell by the tone of it, right? They believe, and that's why they're toning it down, that he might be here next year.
He did actually say, I hope he's given more time.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
I hope he's given more time. They weren't saying that. I mean, these players have been absolutely right on top of the tactics, the style, everything else, what's going on.
So at times as well.
Oh, yeah, no, it's all right. Yeah. It's been atrocious this year, okay? But now it's changed, okay? I think they've stopped, like, calling the style, the tactics and everything, ramping it up, going on and on about it, right, saying it's a joke. They're now toning it down in all departments. But Erik ten Hag is getting a softer ride from these ex-players. They know something.
Yeah.
That's my opinion.
Gaz Taylor says the ex-players are seeing how bad these players actually are.
Well,
I think they've known for a while, surely, how bad these...
This is the problem with Wayne Rooney coming out saying what he said.
But is that, though, you know, when you say how bad these actual players are, you know, we've also got to remind ourselves, you know, there's a large chunk of this squad that are playing in the starting 11, his best starting 11, that he's actually brought into the football club as well. Yeah,
but then that's a different story. We're going down a different road. Some of these players he's bought haven't performed, aren't good enough, or performed and now going off the boil. That happens. You have to remember what we've got at Manchester United. We've got a dysfunctional unit, right, inside the dressing room and everything. So you might have been playing well, but when you're looking around you, concentration goes, and that might be the case for Casemiro. He's playing absolute rubbish in the position he's in. I feel sorry for him for that. But if you go back to his form, right, when he was in front there, he was too slow. He was getting turned. His tackles were slow. He was getting booked regular. He'd even been sent off and that because his tackles was wrong, because them legs were going. And what's happened is, unfortunately for Casemiro, he's been put in a position, right, it does not suit, and he's been exposed. So that's the problem for Casemiro. But it's turmoil. It's turmoil all over. Now, I look at these ex-players and all that, right? They know Rooney's right. They know Wayne Rooney's right about the attitude of players. They wouldn't have stood for it in their time. If you look at Gary Neville, if you look at Roy Keane, and you look at Rio Ferdinand, they're in the main media there. They never stood for it. It was a different way of thinking. Different. They were men, right? Wouldn't stand for anything. No nonsense, no nothing. You come, you put the work in, whether it was on the pitch, in a full game, or in training. You didn't shirk the training. These players, they shirk everything. You see it with your own eyes. You see the laziness on the pitch, that they don't want to run back, okay? But these pundits, these ex-players, they know Wayne Rooney is right because they see it and they hear it.
Anything more to add, though, before we pack it up?
No, I'm just looking forward to the Newcastle game, the Brighton game.
Looking forward to it, yeah?
Yeah, I am looking forward to it. And it might be, you know, you've got to look at, like, the clues to the cup final, the clues to what Erik ten Hag now doesn't have to hold back with these players. The season's over. We know the season's over, okay? Wednesday night, Sunday, it's over, and then the cup final. So Erik ten Hag doesn't have to hang back with anything on these players, because if he is staying, then he and Ineos have already worked the plan out. So he doesn't have to massage players' egos anymore. He can do and say what he wants without any comeback from these players.
Just like to thank everyone for joining us today, getting involved in the chat. Also, a massive shout out to everyone there that subscribed. We've smashed through that 70,000 subscribers tally in less than 950 videos as well. So that's a huge achievement as well before the end of the season. Much appreciated from everyone here. If you've enjoyed the video, smash a like on it, help support the channel, and think about subscribing if you want to see regular content and get involved in the live chat. We'll be back tomorrow with another Manchester United video, so you enjoy your day and rest of the day. And we'll see you again tomorrow. Tongue twister, need a drink of water. Thank you, everyone.